Well, not the best news. We found Trump this morning with a pretty bad cut on his back right foot, enough that we're going to take him to Weatherford Equine. Kind of looks like it's in the joint, but we're going to get them to take a look at it. Normally when it's in the joint, there's not good news that comes with that as far as being able to work again. So hopefully it's not there. We can get him healed up and back to work.
The only chemistry going on in many well waters.
Trump's first time to town too, so let's see.
We could definitely keep them and revising up on some stuff down a bit. So like
Yeah,
Yeah, we can take it in
it's
there.
definitely been that way for a long time. In the past, I don't know, 5 years or so.
Shoot a lateral from the medial. Shoot a medial to left. Front and back view of the fetlock. So cannon bone, P1, the sesamoids, fetlock joint there. You can see the swelling on the lateral aspect of the limb. And that little defect there is where the puncture is shown on this view. And as we make our way around, you know, we're checking for any gas, bone fragments, foreign bodies, like if a piece of metal got stuck in there from his injury, you can see it there as well. That's actually that one. As we go around and take different views, it does appear that it gets very close to the bone, probably at the top of the joint. And so, to really confirm, we would recommend tapping the joint, you know, try and get a fluid sample and see if the fluid we inject communicates with the wound.
Okay.
Oh no. Okay. It's pretty pressurized and opaque. Alright, let's refill our syringes. Looking on that side a little better. Fluid's going somewhere. I don't think it's staying in the joint. Because that joint can't hold 40 mils. Through the needle into the joint. See if it comes out the wound.
I can't really see the wound.
See it? It's not coming back out the needle.
No, it's not drip.
You might have to flex the foot a little bit, like extend it and flex it. Yeah, it's coming down here. Be a little less likely to track or find you know, bacteria into the joint this way than if we were right next to it.
Gotcha.
And it's still coming out the wound up there, you think?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Pressure as it jets
Yeah,
out.
and pushing faster than it can come out the the hole, but that's okay because, you know, causing that joint to distend really opens up the synovium and helps clear out all the spaces where the infection could be trapping right now.
Okay.
Viscous. You can see this is pretty dark yellow, opaque, like you can't see anything through it. Normal joint fluid, you should be able to see like through the tube.
So got a little bit of infection in there.
Yeah, so it's already setting in, but so like I said, we'll get cell count on it today. We can even send it off for culture. We'll chat about that if that's something he wants to do, because it's variable if you actually can get a positive bacterial culture on joint fluid, but it might be worth knowing depending on how he responds to treatment.
Gotcha.
And then we can know better which antibiotics specifically would be best for him. But
Okay.
so anyways, okay.
All right, Lanham, we just tapped him, and I'm going to let Dr. Amanda talk to you.
Hi, sir. Okay, so We did put the needle into the joint, and we did get a fluid sample, which is good because we'll be able to test that for white blood cell count and some other parameters. It did look abnormal in that it was a dark yellow that was pretty thick and opaque. And then the fluid that we pushed through the needle did come out the wound, so that confirms that the wound does communicate with the fetlock joint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Are those better or worse than like a tendon sheath?
You know, quite honestly, I prefer the joint infections over the tendon sheaths. I do find that the tendon sheaths can be harder to treat. Being that it's all soft tissue in there, the bacteria likes to get trapped in places that's hard and create biofilms that don't allow us to always treat them successfully. We have a better prognosis a lot of the times, especially when caught this early. You know, we'll get the cell count on it, but I do believe this is probably less than 12, 14-hour-old wound, and so the infection isn't that old. You know, ideally, the literature says it's best when treated within the first 6 to 8 hours, but we're as close to that as we can get. So we flushed it out with sterile fluids and antibiotics and infused antibiotics into it. So what I'd recommend for today is we wrap that up sterilely and then put a catheter in him and treat him with systemic antibiotics for at least 3 to 5 days, depending on how he's responding. And then, of course, we'll monitor his lameness, soundness, NSAIDs as needed, change bandage, flush the joint again if we need to, kind of go from there day by day. Like, he walked in pretty comfortable. So, we'll monitor it, but like if, we'll probably let the joint rest tomorrow, but if on Sunday he's a little sore and we change the bandage and we're like, it's effusive, it's got fluid, it's pretty warm, we should flush it again. And he is so good, and we got a really good flush on it that I think we could probably do him standing.
Well, not awesome news on Trump, but some good news. It did get into the joint. They flushed it out. They found some infection in there, so they're going to keep him here. See what it does with the flush. Get the blood count, the white blood cell count down, and see if they can get that infection out of there. And hopefully, in about 7 days, we'll have Trump back at the house and healing up. But it's up to them now. Good news, baby! Got a call on Trump, and he is good to come home. They got the infection out of the joint. We do have to make sure and give him some, gotta give him some antibiotics to make sure it stays away, but you can't keep Trump down. You can't. You can't keep Trump down. So we're about to pick him up. Thanks to Weatherford Equine for saving the day, keeping Trump back to work. So let's get him. What's up, big dog? Oh yeah. Almost good as new. Huge. Needs his own little pen to stay in. Meds for 7 days. Cut his wrap off at 5. Probiotics for 14. And we ought to be good to go, or we hope.
Another success story.
Trump wins again.